G'day there, welcome back to The Race Side, and today I'm going to be giving you my full review of episode 9 of season 3 of The Bad Batch. Jumping straight in with my thoughts, I thought this episode was movie level quality and storytelling. Oh my god, did I love this episode. We get the return of Aead Ventress, which we have been waiting for. It was such an important and impressive character to tease in the trailer for this season's trailer to come out. She was such an interesting character to show in the trailer that's going to be in the season, and we have been awaiting her arrival this whole time, and I'm so excited we have her, and she came in such an interesting way. Overall, the details of this episode for me was, like I said, movie quality. The lighting, the scripting, the movement, the music is all so well done. I cannot comprehend the quality of how this season has been made. It really proves that Star Wars storytelling in animation is incredibly strong and has so much worth and merit to explore. And I mean, I'll talk about it at the end of the video, but how that I think they could expand with the animation of Star Wars and what I hope to see. Sticking on how Paboo is the base for the Bad Batch at the minute, I like how this episode just kind of factored in, we just stayed here and we're not going out else somewhere. Like, we have a lot of travel episodes and having to get to the next planet and the next place, but I liked how we were just in one spot for this episode. Really cool reveal of Ventress, and in a very fascinating way. And we were right. For those who predicted that she was Fennec's contact, we were right. The scene in which they start to explore whether Aead has midichlorians and she needs to get tested. Ventress sends her up the mountain, and Ventress goes into hand-to-hand combat with the Bad Batch because, fairly rightfully so, like they've been through a war. They all have all that kind of prejudice against separatists and go, hey, like they said, he's like, she's a separatist assassin. Why would we trust her? I think that makes sense. That it's very logical for them to be super untrusting of Ventress at first. And it was really interesting to see that dynamic play out. And her kind of, she doesn't feel she needs to prove herself, but she definitely is saying, look, if you don't want to trust me, you don't. That's fine. But when it comes to Aead and they get into combat, why was it so good? I've already had a rewatch and I'm trying to figure out how it was so good. It felt real. My brain knows that it's animation, but it felt so real. It looked so real. The speed, the movement looked so smooth in a good way. And it was just really fun to see them all going at each other and, Wrecker trying to get in there. Ventress was kicking their butt, all of them, because Wrecker has the size, Hunter's really quick, and then Crosshair's really precise, but Ventress trumps all that. I think the conversation that they have at certain, many parts of this episode where both Ventress and the Bad Batch, specifically Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair mentioned the war was really well done. That's something that's really impressive in this season of the Bad Batch. The way they've dealt with mentioning the Clone War and acknowledging what happened in that with certain characters has been really cool. And it also just reiterates that, Aead says that I wasn't there for the war. Like, I get it was hard, but I don't get it. It just reiterates that it is two, as much as they're the same, they're a team, it's two different experiences for going through that war and not going through it. Of Aead saying, hey, we should trust her. I know that was hard, but we need to trust her now. Again, this main plot point of exploring whether Aead is force sensitive is really interesting, and somehow this episode was predictable, but also not at all predictable. I couldn't quite tell which direction they were going to go with it. Is she going to suddenly force lift a rock? Were they going to meet someone else? Were they going to fly off planet? Was Ventress going to take her? Was Aead going to stay? Like, what was going to happen? There's so many variables here, but I kind of like that. The interest is so peaked for me watching these episodes. It's only 24 minutes, but the whole 24 minutes, I'm wondering what the next scene is going to be, which I really, really love. At the end, we get Ventress really saying she does not feel like she has to prove her loyalties or whose side she's on. She knows that she can't change the Bad Batch's mind. She can, tell Aead the truth. Aead can, believe her and trust her, but she doesn't need to prove herself to anyone. And in my opinion, she is seemingly quite neutral at the minute. I think a few people would go, is she working for the Empire? I honestly, from Ventress's character and then her experience with Dooku And then her story through Dark Disciple, she isn't a character that would side with the Empire. And if she was, she wouldn't be working with Fennec as well. Kind of. I just don't see that being plausible that she is with the Empire at all. I do think she's in this middle ground. She definitely doesn't feel that overwhelming need like this other story of the Bad Batch do of we need to, help everyone, save everyone from the Empire. Ventress does have that ability to kind of see that perspective of when the Empire is massive. She has that fantastic line of like, you have no idea how powerful the Empire really, really is. The final scenes with Ventress in this episode I think was super, super interesting. I'm calling it now. I thought we might have gotten her like maybe in Tales of the Jedi, but I feel like we have to be getting some sort of The Path, Dark Disciple / Jedi exploration show after this show, because oh my god, did that feel like a backdoor pilot. Even the last few lines that they exchanged from Ventress and the Bad Batch saying, what side, Cross is saying, what side are you on? This is the end of the episode. We want the answer. Then they ask, what is she going to do now? And she replies, I have a few lives left to live. Oh my god, great line. But come on, is that not a backdoor pilot? Think about Clone Wars Season 7 and how the Bad Batch were introduced to the show. Granted, they had 4 episodes to kind of settle themselves and go, hey, this is what we're going to be about. But my god, we only needed this one episode to get the interest peaked for a Ventress show. I'm calling it now. I hope it happens. I hope I speak it into existence. Overall, this episode was just super fun. I think, again, delving into these characters, showing a bit of action, and furthering this storyline of the midichlorians. What is it about? What does that mean for the clones and Omega and the Bad Batch? I think this story, as much as it's a big question mark and cliffhanger, it's propelling the season so well and making every week so much more exciting. So let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this episode and what you would rate it and your review. I would love to hear about it. If you want to get more involved here at the Rayside, make sure you drop by our live watch parties and discussions and pre-shows for every episode of The Bad Batch. We're going live every week doing that, so make sure you hit that bell to know when we are going live. Make sure you like and subscribe. My name is Hannah, and always choose the Rayside.